Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Edebo, and in today's tutorial I'll be teaching you how to cut and sew this beautiful gown with a halter neckline. This is a freehand cutting and beginners friendly, very simple to understand. Please watch to the end, okay? So you'll be needing 1.5 yards of any African print of your choice and 1 yard of another fabric, crepe fabric to be precise, if you want to make it my way. So for the basic measurements, you'll be needing the following: your shoulder length, that is from one end of your shoulder to the other end, mine is 14 inches. Your bust circumference, that is the round of your bust, mine is 35 inches. Your full length of your gown, that is where you want your gown to stop, mine is 14 inches. Okay, so that's all for the basic measurements. Now I'll be moving on to the drafting of the dress directly on my fabric. So I'll be joining the two sharp edge of my fabric like this in a diagonal way, and then come in by 1 inch for my zipper allowance. I'll make sure that I take that measurement down to the length of the gown and then draw a straight line to connect them together. This is to enable me know my next step to take, okay? So I'll also fold my fabric this way and make sure it stops at that line I created for the zipper allowance. This is because the zipper allowance is only for the back and not for the front. So I'm basically making sure that I have 4 pieces of my fabric. So it will be for the 2 sides of the back and the front. Divide your shoulder measurement by 2, mine is 7 inches, and then at the top like this, measure that 7 inches, okay? Draw a straight line across. This will serve as a starting point for my dress. So next is to get the neckline of my dress. So the width of my neckline is 3 inches, but I'll be coming in by 2.5 inches because I'm actually cutting on my fabric, not on my pattern, okay? Then for the depth of my front neckline, it's actually 3 inches, but I will also come down by 2.5 inches because I'm cutting directly on my fabric, and then I'll just connect the 2 points together like this in a curved line. Next is to get the armhole of my dress. So for the armhole of the dress, I'll be dividing my bust circumference by 6 plus 1.5 inches, which is 7 inches in total for me, and then add up 1 inch. So I'll just come down from my starting point to the 8 inches. I will then draw a straight line to connect all the way to the sides of the dress and the front of the dress. I forgot to do the back neckline while trying to rush the video. So for the back neckline, I will just come down by 1 inch for the depth instead of 1.5 inches because it's a freehand cutting. Then connect it in a curved line like this. And that's all for the neckline. On that armhole line, or you can call it chest line, I'll be dividing my bust circumference by 4, which is 9 inches, and then come in by that 9 inches on the armhole line. Then I'll now add up 1.5 inches for ease and allowance. Then also connect from the armhole line to the neckline this way with my curve ruler. I'll also give that armhole 1/2 inch seam allowance for the piping, okay? So the next step is to get the full length of my dress, and mine is 14 inches, okay? But also I want to make use of the black crepe for the down part, and the total of the crepe I'll be making use of is 15 inches. So 14 inches minus 15 inches is equals to 25. So I'll be adding up 1 inch to the 25 inches. Okay, so it's now 26 inches in total for my legs after deducting the 15 inches. I'll just take the measurements all around to my fabric, okay? So next step is to cut them out for sewing. And I'll be starting with the back neckline, then the armhole, okay, then to the front neckline, and then lastly the length of the dress. So this is basically all for the drafting of the dress. So next is to bring in the back piece, join the both sides together, right side facing each other, and then on the zipper line from the neckline, come down by 14 inches or lower for the zip, and then close the remaining inches with your machine. So this is it after I was done sewing. I also iron it out so I will know the exact place to sew my zip. Next thing to do is to do the piping of the armhole of my dress. And to do that, I'll be creating a bias with the crepe fabric I have. Fold the edge of your crepe this way. Try expanding it this way, and if it expands, that's the right place to use. I will be making use of 1.5 inches width and whatever depth that will be enough to accommodate the both armhole of my front and back dress. So I've gone ahead to cut it out. I have two pieces. Next is to bring in my drafted gown. Place the right sides of the crepe on the wrong side of the fabric like this, and then pin it down to the end of the armhole. Next is to go ahead to my machine and join them together with 1/2 inch. So this is it after I was done sewing. So I will just be folding in the crepe this way. It's just exactly like you are trying to fold the hem of a skirt or a trouser. I'll just pin it down and then sew them together with my machine in such a way that my Ankara will not be showing, only the crepe. So I've gone ahead to do the same thing to the other armhole and also to the back armhole. Okay. Next is to sew my zip to my fabric with the 1 inch for the zipper allowance with my machine. So this is it. I was done sewing. I'll be joining the front and the back together with 1 inch seam allowance with my machine, and this is it after I was done sewing. Moving on, in order to get my collar correctly, I'll be measuring the round of my front neckline and my back neckline together. Mine is 14 inches. Then add up 1 inch for the joining. I will just bring in my crepe fabric, fold it this way in two, measure the length 15 inches, and I want the depth of my collar to be 1 inch in total, okay? But I'll be adding up 1/2 inch for the joining. I'll just go ahead and cut it out. After I'm done cutting, I'll just notch the center part of the collar like this. This is to enable me get the collar correctly. Also bring in your front dress neckline and notch the center also. This is to enable me place the collar properly on the dress, okay? So I'll just join the right side of my collar to the wrong side of my front neckline. Like it should actually be on the notch part, the place I notched the both of them. So you just join the two of them together and then pin it down with your office pin, okay? Also pin the back neckline to the crepe, same way with the front neckline, but leave 1/2 inch for the joining at the collar at the zipper part, and then sew the both of them together with 1/2 inch down to the end of your neckline. So this is it after I was done. Next is to join the two edge of your collar together by joining the edge of the collar together. Sew the 1/2 inch at the edge of the collar together. So this is it after I was done. I will just be turning the right sides out, the right side of the collar out, and then joining together with the neckline by tucking in 1/2 inch and then sew the both together. So this is the final result for the neckline. I will just go ahead and fix in and hook an eye to the collar, to the back of the collar of my dress, okay? So for the down part, I'll be measuring the total roundness of the hem of my dress and then multiply that either by 2 or by 3 for the gathers of the dress. Mine is 32 inches after I was done measuring, and I will just multiply it by 3 for the width so I will get the full gathers I want, okay? I'll be making use of the remaining inches I got while doing my gown for the fullness of my gown, okay? And then plus 1.5 inches for the joining, which is 15 inches plus 1.5 inches equals to 16.5 inches in total. So I'm gonna ahead to cut it out, okay? So I'll be using the remaining fabric for my belt. I have 3.5 inches for the depth, and then whatever length that will be enough to round your waist by 2, or you can make it longer, your choice. I'll just go ahead and sew the belt, and then also join the crepe to the ankara in a gathers form down to the end of the dress, okay? So this is it after I was done sewing both the ankara and the crepe together. And I equally folded the hem of the crepe with 1 inch. I've also gone ahead to sew the belt also. And that's all for this tutorial. Okay, you can see the gown is looking very beautiful. So this is the end of the video. Thank you for staying through. Please subscribe. Click on the notification bell to be notified whenever I post new videos. And please like and share. Bye.